Hi, I'm Megan from Megan's Nails, and today we're going to do a coral nail with a copper accent. First we're going to start off with our base coat, and then we are going to go to Sinful Colors, which I get at Walgreens. They're fairly inexpensive. This one is called Ooh La La. And then our accent is going to be Revlon, which this one is called Copper Penny. This one I believe I got at Ulta, which is just a beauty supply store. And then we're going to finish with our top coat. The base coat and the top coat I have done a review on lately, so check my blog for that. This one I got, or these two I got at Sally's Beauty, which is just another supply store that you don't have to have a license to get into. So let's go ahead and get started. First we're going to do the base coat on all the nails. And I do a fairly thin layer of the base coat. And you just want to make sure that you have all of it covered. It doesn't take long for them to dry just with that base coat. Like I said, I do a very thin layer. So then once the nails are dry, which they are dry already, then we're going to take that Sinful Colors, the coral color, which is the Ooh La La. And I always do very thin coats of polish as well. The thicker the coat of polish, the harder it's going to be for that polish to dry. So you want to do a thin coat and just do multiple coats rather than one really thick coat. Because you might think that nail is dry because the outer layer is dry. But even after you apply your top coat, you're going to notice that nail is going to gouge really easy. And there you go, and that's going to be the first layer for the coral color. And then we'll go ahead and let these dry, and I'll probably let them dry about 15 minutes or so. Okay, so our nails are dry with the first coat. So now we're going to go ahead and apply that second coat. Again, it's going to be a small layer, a very thin layer. And normally, like I was saying before, I usually only do 2 coats for nails. Sometimes I'll do 3, it just depends on the color. If you have a neon color, a lot of times it does take quite a few more coats. So if you do a white coat or a very light coat of the same color as your base coat, you'll notice that you don't have to apply so many layers to get that color. And then we'll go ahead and switch colors here, and we'll do that accent nail. Depending on what thickness that accent nail is going to be with that polish, you might have to actually do 2 coats of the other color. So we'll just see here what this is going to work out to. My accent nail I'm going to do in the Revlon color, which was the Copper Penny. Okay, so there is our second coat. So we'll go ahead and let this dry for, like I said, probably about another 15 minutes or so. And then we'll come back and I'll do a second coat, most likely of the Copper Penny for my accent nails. And then we'll go ahead and add the copper at the same time to the French tips of the coral nails. Okay, it's been about another 15 minutes, so now we're going to go ahead and do the second coat of the copper on the accent nail, and then we're going to go ahead and do the French tips on the coral with the copper. And again, I'm doing another, just a thin coat. And it shouldn't actually take too much here for the copper, because when it dried it actually looked pretty decent as far as equalness for the color from the cuticle part to the tip here. Okay, so we got those done, and now we're going to go ahead and I just freehand the French tips. You don't have to. You could use tape, or they actually have stickers for it that you can use, that you can buy at any beauty store, or I think they even have them at Walmart or Walgreens. But I just like to freehand it here because it depends on what look you're going for and how long your nails are and all of that. So I'm just going to freehand it like that there. So we'll go ahead and let these dry. I'll probably only let them dry maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so. We're going to be done with the accent nail as far as that goes besides your top coat. The other ones we're just going to do another coat on that French with that copper, and then we'll go ahead and let that dry for a few more minutes, and then we'll do that top coat. So we'll let them sit for a minute, and then we'll go ahead and get that second coat on. Okay, so it's been about 10 more minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the second coat on the tips. And the second coat I'm still going to do a thin layer, but it goes really fast just because you already have that line and everything established, so you don't really have to be as careful. You obviously still want to get that good coverage, so you want to make sure that you do get all the way down to where you have that line established. Okay, and there we go. That's going to be the finished look there, besides the top coat. So we'll go ahead and wait probably about 10-15 minutes or so, just to make sure that that's dry, and then we'll go ahead and add that top coat. Okay, it's been about, actually only about 5 minutes or so. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the top coat here. And this top coat is actually, you're supposed to do it when the nails are partially wet. It helps create that bond between the top coat and the base coat. I usually don't do it when my nails are completely wet. I usually let them dry a little bit, just because I don't want them to smear. I want to keep those lines crisp, so we're going to go ahead and add that top coat. The top coat I do in a little bit more of a thick layer, and what I like to do is to go ahead and cut off the tip with the top coat as well, because that's going to be where your main wear is. So I like to go ahead and actually do the underneath part of the nail as well with the top coat. Okay, and there we have the final product.